Alright, hi everybody, it's Volcano22. Alright, I did JoJo, and it's still uploading the fucking 12 Days of Anime Day 2, but it's almost finished. So I should be able to upload JoJo and this review of Sword Art Online. Alright. Now, unfortunately, I was shocked. And I had seen, for JoJo and for Sword Art Online, I had saw one of, not really a guy I always talk to, like Whirlpool Inc. He did the JoJo review, and I took a look at what he had to say about it. I was like, okay. And I was in Jotun's live stream. And people were commenting, oh, did you see SAO? Oh, SAO is copying Berserk. And I'm like, what? Berserk? And I was thinking, oh shit, did they just show like ASUNA getting raped or something? You know? Rape. But, and then I took a look at just McWhirlpool Inc.'s review, and he said, oh, you know, him fondling her. And I'm like, oh, okay, so it's nothing serious. Sure enough, it wasn't anything serious. Done by Sugo. Let me just say one thing about Sugo. Worst? Yes. 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 You know what? I might say worse than Ginjo. I will go that far. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. A new level of, I don't want to steal someone's line. Krusty. New line of very, very, very bad. Can't be a villain if he even tried. Villain. Sugo is the worst villain in anime right now. I don't know about manga, but in anime, he's the worst. Because, truth be told, he's got nothing. Nothing. In this episode, he had nothing. Nothing. And what I mean by nothing? Okay. Nomi. That is right. Nomi from XL World would shit on Sugo. In fact, if Nomi fought Sugo, Sugo would get his ass raped. Yeah. But let's go into the summary. Okay, this was called Gilded Hero, which was said by Kirito in this episode, so this is pretty interesting. You got a title said by a character. And what ends on happening is Yui and Kirito go through. Yeah, actually, what happens is they get to a corridor, the same corridor, the same hallway that ASUNA was in. And they go into that corridor, and they're walking, and they're trying to get a way through, and Yui is basically directing Kirito to that spot. And they get to the branches of the World Tree, up on the top of the World Tree, and they look up. There is no city. There is no top of the World Tree. It was pretty much a scam by Sugo. Oh, the Elf King. Horrible villain. Worse than Ginjo. Worse than Hardy Jones. Worse than Caesar Clown. Just terrible. He couldn't be a villain if his life depended on it. So, he's going, like I said, Kirito's on the branches, and they finally find ASUNA's cage. And I'm thinking, oh, this is too easy. I mean, he's going in there, he's ready to hug her and shit, and it's all better, and I'm thinking, like, it's not her, it's him. But it was her. They're in the cage, and what happened is all of a sudden, the floor starts to, like, go like this. It was very weird. And Yui disappears. And all of a sudden, they get sent to the ground. And basically, the story behind it was that this Sugo, Sugo, he used, oh, I have gravity magic. Really? Really? That's your master plan? I'm gonna pin Kirito and Asuna down? Oh, it was grand to see what he did after that. He was like, oh, kick Kirito, he's down. Hey, Elf King, I got news for you. I hope I don't meet a person like Sugo. Because if I met a person like Sugo, I'd probably send them to the loony bin. And I'm not talking the psychiatric centers that we have today. I'm talking, I think it was in Wolfman, those psychiatric centers. You know, the one where they dump you in a pool filled with ice and water? And you're freezing? That kind of center. Because that's the way he was acting. All high and mighty Sugo, he's like, I'm going to play with. He was basically saying that now he's going to become God, and he's going to control people's souls, the human soul, and all this whole horse shit. And he's flaunting, and he's going to control Kirito and Asuna basically. And he then kicks Kirito. He stabs him with his own sword, and he's like, I'm like, and what does he do? Oh, he puts Asuna with the chains, put her in chains, put the gravity down, and starts touching her. Hey, Sugo, what are you, a rapist? You must be. Oh, I got an idea. I know the perfect solution to your problem. You like rape? No. Come with me, Sugo. Where are we going? We're going to a magical land. Ooh, great. Here's a perfect place for you. What is this? Oh, it's Middle Earth. Well, not really Middle Earth. It's in the Middle Ages. Oh, who's that guy with the big sword? Oh, that's Guts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Sugo, you belong in the Berserk world. Yes, I went there. That is what will happen to Sugo. He will meet Guts, and then he will meet Griffith. And Griffith will tell the trolls that he has, rape him. And you will get maliciously raped. Because all the time he's like touching her, undressing her, like, I'm like, really? Well, anyway, back to the story at hand. That's pretty much what he did, and he was touching her, smelling her, undressing her. He was feeling her up. Like, is this necessary? Now, obviously, Kirito's in despair from this. He tries to get up, can't get up, sword's in him. He actually increases, Sugo, the pain for Kirito to like level 8 or something. At least that's what he did. And during this entire situation, Kirito obviously questions himself, saying, oh, I'm not strong enough. How could I have thought that I could save Asuna all by myself? And then we hear a voice telling Kirito, are you giving up? And he says, no, I'm just accepting reality. That's the same as giving up. And we see a figure appear before Kirito, and it's Kaiba, the creator of SAO. And, he basically gives a motivational speech here, and is able to get Kirito to rise up and go and attack Sugo. And after that, he gets up, painfully gets up, and Sugo's like, he's like pissed off. He's like, what are you doing? He's like looking at him. It's like, and Kirito calls the ID code that Sugo has for, I think, Heathcliff, and he tries to do the same thing, Sugo, but he can't. And what ends up happening is, trying to think, what happened? Yeah, he can't do it. So he's like, Excalibur, I'm done. He's trying to fix the thing, and he can't do it. And then Kirito basically calls forth Excalibur. Oh, and it was so easy to access it. So after he calls forth the Excalibur, he gives it to Sugo, picks up his sword, and starts fighting it. And it's not even a challenge for Kirito. It's like a joke. Like a real joke. Like, Sugo can't fight for shit. Fairy King? Really? More like Shitty King. So, he does a few blocking moves, Kirito. Then, cuts off Sugo's hand, cuts him this way, grabs him by the head, throws him up, and just sword right there. And it's cut in half. Probably more malicious than how Haru killed Nomi. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Probably more malicious. But Sugo, he asked for it. So yeah. So pretty much that's how it happened. And then after that we have the meeting between ASUNA and Kirito, and they're hugging, and he's crying, it's an emotional moment. And he then logs her out and sends her on her merry way. He's gonna meet up with her. And she says, I never stop believing in you, and so on and so forth. And after she leaves, and he says it's over, he sees Kaiba again. And we find out that Kaiba, he was dead, but his after image was still there. So it's almost like, I don't want to say a soul, but the image of Kaiba, creator of SAO, Sword Art Online, was left behind. And that was the explanation we got there. And basically he gives Kirito this egg, this seed. And Kaiba's telling him it's the seed of the beginning. Now, I believe it might be Underworld, but I don't know. That's a little bit too much. Because the next episode, this wasn't the final episode, it's one more episode. And that episode is called Egg of the Beginning or something. Egg of the Beginning, I believe. Egg of a New World. And that's when after Kaiba gives it to him, he says, and you'll decide whether to destroy it or use it. And then he goes on his merry way. And then after that, Kirito shows up where Yui is, back in the cage where Yui is, and he tells her that mommy's okay, and she's like, she's hugging him and everything. It's an emotional moment. And he then decides to log out and go. And of course, when he wakes up, who does he see? Sugo, of course. And he's thinking about Lifa. It's like, no, get that incest out. And that's pretty much what happened there. And then he just gets up and he gonna go meet her up with ASUNA at the hospital. And that's pretty much what happened in a nutshell. Good episode, but Sugo, worst villain. And when I mean worst, I don't mean good villain. I mean like a horrible villain. Like, yeah, you can't do shit for anything. He's like, because I put him below Ginjo. If I had the top worst villains, like the most horrible villains, the villains that I don't even consider a villain, Sugo is at the top. The worst of the worst. Just like you what makes you think you can do anything? Like, what did you do? Like, what are your powers? Oh, gravity magic. That's it? Pathetic. And I'm glad Kirito did what he did to him, because he fully deserved what he got coming to him. But this was a good episode, 5 out of 5. Next week, I guess I'm doing a series review. I'm going to do the whole shebang. It's going to be a rating of the episode and of the whole series. And I'll give my final thoughts on SAO. So, yeah. That's going to be it, people. So yeah, it was a good episode. The whole thing with Sugo, though, I say is this. Scum, you deserve what you got. Go back to the drawing board. You are the worst villain in anime. Meaning you're bad. Meaning you're horrible. You're not even worth the time, man. You're worse than Ginjo. And Ginjo was pretty bad. So, yeah, that's my final thoughts on this. So, pretty good episode. ASUNA, Kirito, they're back together, okay? And that's pretty much it. So, this is Bankai 922. I'll see you guys later. Next week, final thing. Final episode review. Final rating for the series. We will see how it goes down. This is Bankai 922. I'll see you guys later. Kirito and ASUNA back together. It's good. And Sugo, get the fuck out.